So on today's edition of Diaspora Check-In, we meet Dr. Callisia N. Clarke, President of the Association for Academic Surgery, currently based in the state of Wisconsin, currently receiving a very top honor, President Biden announcing key appointments to boards and commissions, and she has been appointed to be a member of the National Cancer Advisory Board. Dr. Clarke, good morning to you. How are you?
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
It's so good to have you, daughter of the soil, making waves abroad. We want to find out a little bit more about your journey, which is a very inspirational one. I must tell you, you don't look like you left Jamaica more than 3 years, left school more than 3 years ago.
I will take that.
But 10 years of training after med school. Yeah. And med school would have been a long time. So whatever you are doing, it obviously is feeding you well and keeping you, I mean, you're glowing this morning is really what I'm saying. But let's move on from that. Tell me a little bit about your life in Jamaica before you left. You were here, you went to Barracks Road Primary School. You passed Common Entrance, which gives me an idea of when you were.
Long time ago.
Mobay High School, Mobay Com College. Yes. You were also a little bit of a competitor in JCDC. So well-rounded. Tell me about life at home before you left.
So I grew up in Ramble, actually, just outside of Montego Bay. That's where we lived, but I went to school in Montego Bay and just had a fantastic childhood. My parents are both teachers, and so education was always something that was highly valued in our household and was really an emphasis. I was interested in medicine at a very young age, at around age 8. And so my parents at that time really thought about trying to shape my experiences to help me be, well-rounded, but most importantly to have, I think, a good path to medicine. So I passed Common Entrance, was really excited to go to Montego Bay High School. That photo that you just saw of me in high school, actually, I think all 4 of us ended up in medical school. It was just a culture of excellence that we really embraced and continue to push even today.
Fantastic. Com College is business, right? So you got a little bit of business underpinning. Tell us how you ended up now into the United States of Foreign. Is that where you would have done your med school there? So tell me about that transition and then landing out of Mobay Com College where you would have had business underpinnings and stepping into what you really, really wanted to do.
Yeah, so we actually had a very strong science focus at Montego Bay Community College, at least when I was there. So I did 6th form there, did biology, chemistry, math, physics. And after doing my A-levels, then we sort of had to make the decision about where to go to medical school. I actually wanted to go to UE. It's a shorter path. You can go to medical school straight out of high school. But my parents were, both of my parents had done some of their education in the United States and Canada. And I think because of my interest in surgery specifically, my parents thought, if your plan is to eventually go to the United States for medical school, then you should probably do it early on. So I actually moved after Montego Bay Community College to College of Worcester in Ohio. I got a scholarship there, and so went there. I did my degree there in biochemistry, graduated with honors, and then went to University of Cincinnati for medical school, also on scholarship there. That's really where I fell in love with cancer surgery in particular. I spent a lot of my time taking care of some really sick patients and really bonded with just the fact that cancer it's a very humbling diagnosis. It really doesn't matter who you are or where you're from. Everybody's equally scared. And I found it to really be a privilege to try to help patients navigate what is really a tumultuous time in their life. I went on to MD Anderson Cancer Center, which is the largest cancer center in the United States, the #1 cancer center in the United States, to do my fellowship training. So really what that entailed is after 4 years of undergrad, 4 years of medical school, I then did a 7-year general surgery residency, also focusing on cancer research at that time, and then a 3-year fellowship at MD Anderson focusing on cancer surgery and cancer research.
That's 20 years, 148 and 715 and 318.
Yep.
That's almost 20 years. what has your journey taught you about cancer and the role that you can play in? I mean, I know folks are working so feverishly behind the scenes, but as you said, it's a humbling diagnosis. Mm-hmm. Do you sometimes feel that, your work is never ending, or that do you believe you will see a cure in your lifetime?
So I think, there's actually a lot of good news about cancer, especially here in the United States. And my hope is to actually see this translate more in the Caribbean, especially as many of us, try to come back home and bring our expertise there. But we've actually done so well with so many cancers as new treatment options have come to light and have been approved. Breast cancer, for example, was just in many cases was a death sentence, but now we've sort of gotten to the point where we're able to cure, the vast majority of patients that are diagnosed with breast cancer. I think there's still disparities in those outcomes, specifically for people that are of Black or African heritage. But we're working to really decrease that role. And I think surgery plays a critical role. Yeah. I think one of the things that I like to push most about cancer is screening, because that's really where we can make an impact. Early diagnosis really helps with the outcomes. And so here in the United States and at home, I know there's a big push to increase the screening for cancers, that we have effective screening options for. Breast cancer is a main one. Colon cancer is another one. Those cancers, if diagnosed earlier, are often curable, certainly in our lifetime. Yeah, but I do spend a significant amount of my time also trying to identify different treatment options for other cancers that don't have as many treatment options or effective chemotherapy drugs. And so the work is still ongoing, and there are a lot of people working diligently to do that.
God bless
so I'm hopeful
you. God
that we'll
bless you
actually
guys.
have a cure in my lifetime.
We're happy to hear that. If you're hopeful, that's good. Tell me a little bit about this appointment before we go. How did you manage to end up on this board?
Not quite sure, actually. But I think that, I've done a fair amount of work in the cancer space, and especially in the cancer disparities space. And so this is a real privilege and an honor. So the National Cancer Advisory Board really serves to, advise the Secretary of Health and Human Services, the National Cancer Institute, and the president on anything sort of relating to cancer and cancer care and the workings of the NCI. It's a very prestigious group, and I'm really excited to be able to have some input into what the United States basically focuses on in terms of cancer care and cancer research.
Excellent. So proud of you we are, Dr. Clarke. Keep doing what you're doing. Thank you for what you're doing, because you're doing it in the US, but it redounds to every human being across the world. Whatever breakthroughs you make there have implications for everybody who has and will have this horrible, horrible, horrible disease, hate cancer. Anybody you want to say hi to before we go? I'll give you 10 seconds.
Oh my gosh, so many people. Specifically, just wanted to say hi to my teachers from Montego Bay High School, from Barracks Road Primary, and obviously from Montego Bay Community College, and just a lot of friends and family that I still keep in touch with that help me feel very grounded and always welcome me when I come back home.
Nice. Thank you so much. Nice to hear your accent still peeking out a little bit there. You've held on to it. We're glad to hear it. Thank you, Dr. Clarke, for joining us this morning, and God bless you as you continue to do the hard work. Dr. Callisia N. Clarke, President of the Association for Academic Surgery. We take a break, actually, after we do this. That's it for our Diaspora Check-In.